Writing a cover letter. What's a cover letter, you ask? Well, let's have a look. A cover letter is something that goes before your CV on a job application and basically introduces you, denotes why you're applying for the job, highlights skill sets specific to the job, and gives you an opportunity to show yourself off prior to an interview. Many people struggle to write cover letters, so we've made it a bit easier for you. Section 1. Some general points. There's a few things you need to consider before writing a cover letter, so before we break it down into a step-by-step guide, let's talk about that. Spelling, punctuation and grammar is really important in your cover letter because it lets your potential employer know that you're educated enough to string together a sentence. It should be brief, one side of A4 is plenty, and should be concise without repeating from your CV. Avoid formal cliches and relate your skills to the advert, which brings us to the next point, research. Make sure you always do some research before jumping straight into a job application. Research the role advertised and even the company itself. Then you'll know exactly what they're looking for and you can tailor your skills to their requirements. Don't lie though. When you write your cover letter, it can be handwritten or typed, but make sure it's presentable and readable, or the employer won't look at it. Push your strengths and make it personal, but don't ramble or disclose personal information. It's not necessary and it's too personal, plus it will take up too much space. Be informal but not colloquial. So that's the purpose of a cover letter. Now let's look at how to write one. Section 2. The start or opening. The opening paragraph of your cover letter is mainly used to grab the attention of the reader. It doesn't need to be very long, but it does need to leave a good impression. If you can address a specific person, this will raise your chances of standing out because it shows you've bothered to look up who will be dealing with the applications and you're more likely to get a reply. If you have no idea what the person's name is, there are still plenty of ways to properly introduce yourself in a letter. Remember to include what position you're applying for, where you saw it advertised, and when you're available to start. You should show motivation and enthusiasm in the opening paragraph, but don't go over the top. This is mainly where to avoid formal cliches and jargon so you don't sound like you have nothing else to say. Stick to your own words so you can stay genuine. Finally, language and tone is very important in a cover letter. You need to sound like you know who you're talking to and exactly what you're talking about. It's fine to start with phrases such as "I am writing," because that's a personal approach. Just make sure you don't slip into too much of an informal tone, or you might run the risk of rambling and not appear to know what you're applying for. Section 3. The bulk of your cover letter. The bulk of your cover letter should explain what attracted you to the job position and/or type of work, why in particular you're interested in working for that company, and also what you feel you can bring to the organisation. Use this as a chance to explain any big gaps in your CV and make them aware of anything you think will be important. If you have a disability, you are not required to include it, but don't lie if you do. The middle part of your cover letter is also where you should sell your skills and achievements, especially transferable skills like problem solving, organising, research skills and so on. Demonstrate how your skills match the requirements of the job description and highlight your unique selling points to show them why you feel you're better suited to the job than all of the other candidates. Finally, put yourself in their shoes. If you were reading it, what would you be looking for? What skills would you be interested in? What would you ignore because it isn't relevant? Doing this will also really help when you're proofreading. Section 4. Ending your letter. The end or conclusion of your letter is about putting everything together and leaving a positive impression. You should mention your desire for a personal interview and also any dates you are unavailable. Leave an indication of how you would like to be contacted, whether that be through email, phone, post or some other way. And finally, thank them, also saying how you are looking forward to receiving a response. This should be polite but not over the top or pushy. Don't demand a response, just suggest that you would like one. It should also be brief but not too short. So there you have it, writing a cover letter isn't all that hard after all. Just remember to always stick to the truth. Address the person by name, be concise, relate your skills to the advert, proofread and leave a positive impression. Don't ramble, don't repeat from your CV, or be rude and really informal, and you should be just fine. Normally, a CV will mostly stay the same for all of your job applications, but a cover letter will be different each time, so make sure you always take the time to do some research before applying. Write about the right job application, the right company, and to the right person. And finally, make sure your contact details are up to date or you could end up missing out.